the city.
What's going on, St. Louis City fans? I am joined by Jonah and Marlon. Today is May 24th, and we are going to be breaking down the game coming up this Saturday against Vancouver Whitecaps at 7:30 at City Park. This is the first time we've had back-to-back home games. Normally they alternate.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
I think the MLS likes to rotate them, but for some reason we've been blessed. And then I think we have a third one in a row, too.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, afterwards.
Good deal.
I like when I don't like it going just back and forth. I like it when it's.
I thought that's how it was, but
nah.
turns out it's not.
Or at least in the overseas it's not.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, it's a good thing that we're playing Vancouver at home because they have not won a single game on the road this year.
That is good.
5 wins, 5 ties. I mean, 5 losses, 5 ties. I'm pretty sure.
They're in 7th, though. That's
they
not
are
terrible.
in 7th. So their home record kind of makes up for it, I guess.
3 losses, 3 ties away.
Yeah, so obviously not good, but could be worse. They're in 7th.
Yeah.
Still making the playoffs right now.
But they also have 5 shutouts, which is tied for, I think, 3rd with like 6 other teams.
So are they a low block team as well then? Or
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think I don't know. I think they're pretty solid defensively, but they also can't score that much either.
So interesting statistic. Last year, Vancouver finished in 9th place in the Western Conference, and they conceded 57 goals, which was the second highest goals allowed in the Western Conference. And guess which defender they had on their team that we now have? Our least favorite. I'll give you a hint.
Jake Nowitzki.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Wow, that makes sense. And did they improve on those numbers this season so far?
I mean, they're in 7th compared to 9th. They've only conceded 14 goals, which is, I think, like 1.08 per game.
Goals conceded per match is 1.1, and that's good enough for 8th. So, yeah. Get rid of Jake Nowitzki.
And you improve immediately.
We're clowning this man, and we need him to do well this Saturday, so can't hate on him too much. But
Yep. And then last year, they were also the 3rd lowest scoring side in the MLS, which honestly, like, 2nd highest goals allowed, 3rd lowest scoring side, and they were still in 9th. That kind of blows my mind.
That's also weird because when you look at it now, I'm pretty they're 3rd in expected goals, they're 1st in expected assists, and they're 2nd in most key passes.
Mm-hmm. I also saw that they were...
So they've improved their offense a lot, but lot more than it was.
And they're 3rd in shots on target per match. So they'll get their chances. They'll get their opportunities.
But we have Berkey, so I ain't worried.
Yeah.
They have,
who do they have, though, that's like a big... They have Brian White. That's like their guy, right?
Yeah,
He's got 4 goals.
Well, they have 2 players with 4 goals.
Oh.
Him and...
Simon Betcher?
Yeah, Betcher.
I saw a stat about Berkey that he has the most, like, how do I word this? So, like, he has saved the most expected goals out of any other goalie in the MLS. And it was something like 5.7 goals should have been scored on us that he prevented, which is, like, insane.
Yeah.
Like, I remember we were getting clowned for having our goalie being our highest paid player. And I someone knew what they were doing.
And it's also weird with that because, like I said earlier, like they're tied with 5 shutouts with 8 other teams, and we only have 3. And like that makes me mad because Berkey's putting in all this work, especially last game we got a shutout, but like all these other games where we've said like he's the reason we haven't lost or we kept a clean sheet, and where he still only has 3 clean sheets.
Yeah.
We're
not really rewarding him.
Yeah, we're not. I think it also has to do with how many times we've changed our back lineup, like bringing in Barlett, Hebert, not playing Hebert.
Agreed.
I don't know.
Well, we'll have Nelson back this game, so
you think he slots right back in?
No.
Yeah, I think so.
No.
Why wouldn't he?
Why change it after we just dominated that last game?
Because Hebert is not a left back.
But he did a better job at left back than our left back.
I don't know if I can agree with that. I feel like while John Nelson isn't the most attacking left back, he still like is more attacking than Kyle Hebert.
Yeah.
Kyle Hebert is a straight up center back playing left back. I'd rather have a left back play left back. You know what I mean?
I could see it go either way. I feel like with Hebert, you know that there's not going to be any defensive errors.
Yeah.
Which Nelson, like, he does bring a little bit more offensively, but he's definitely not as defensively sound as Hebert.
It's true.
How many times he was getting cooked on Chicago?
The Chicago game, I feel like, was an anomaly. Like, watching all the games throughout the season, he's never looked that bad.
I agree.
Like, that was a historically
His
terrible
worst
match
game.
for him.
Yeah.
I've seen it around the world. Like, a lot of center backs have been playing, like Ake. He's a center back playing left back. Koundé, he's a center back playing right back. Like,
Rudiger.
Like, Alaba, he plays both. Like, it's something that he can learn. And, like, if he can learn playing left back, I don't think all left backs need to be attacking. I think that's just the modern game that is changing, which is he should improve on it. But I think how well he did in that game, I would want him to start over Nelson.
Also, something that I've noticed is that when our defenders actually have to defend, it's usually on counterattacks where the other team like has taken out all of our midfield press, and it's just someone running at our last 4 defenders, like in a line basically. And in that scenario, I would rather have Hebert as left back. And I don't even think like Nelson offensively, like, he doesn't really add that much. I'd rather have like security in the back and allow our midfielders to like not have to worry about defense as much or like coming back as far. So I kind of am siding with Marlon on this one. I would like to see Hebert start back there.
I just think, like, I agree. He offensively, like, there's times in the Sporting game where like he had the opportunity to cross and he didn't.
Because he knows what his game is.
And
it's not really his.
But it's better that he passes it to someone instead of just sending a terrible ball into the box.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
Getting
Nelson
caught
is definitely guilty of that.
Yeah. So I feel like that is more valuable keeping the ball than just giving it up. Especially when it's like when Klaus is not there, he's not a small guy. He can go up for headers, but then who else? Who else is going to go up for a header? Leuven's never like in the box for crosses. Like, he's always on the edge of the box. Celio's not really going up for headers. Stroud, like, they're not.
That's just not really a play style that we can implement now that Klaus isn't there as the target man. So
that's why Hebert not crossing is not a big deal.
What I kind of worry about, though, is that our defense will be disconnected from the midfield, and you'll end up with just like you said, just the back 4 will be sitting back there. As the counterattack comes through our midfield. You'd like to see like the right and the left back connect a little bit more into the midfield, and if Hebert is playing there, I don't feel like that's going to happen.
I will say I really do think that Hebert is one of our best center backs, like in terms of short passes. Like, I don't think Tim Parker
ball playing. Yeah, he's our best ball playing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Tim Parker, like, he can kick the ball really hard out of bounds.
He loves doing long balls
and Bartlett, like, he's like kind of a mix of the two. I think he's not as good as Hebert. But I think Hebert, like, he can play a cutting pass and break like that first forward line of defense. So like, I don't really think on offense it's going to be that disconnected. I mean, obviously the crosses, if that's how we want to play, then yeah, he's kind of a liability there, but
I'm with you. I don't think that crossing is our game.
Yeah.
I don't feel like
Agreed.
that's what we should be trying to do.
Did any of our goals this last game come from crossing?
The only
I don't
one
think so.
Think of is
none of them.
None of them. First one was a pen.
Miggy was the last one that came from a cross, and that was a corner.
And that was a corner, but that's a whole different thing. For corners, I think if you don't put it in the box on a corner, you're wasting it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's also weird with Vancouver. They're like very, I don't know, not wishy-washy, but so inconsistent when it comes to certain games because they're coming off a 2-0 win against Seattle. They've beaten Portland and they've also lost to Portland. They've beaten Minnesota and they've also tied Minnesota. So it's like, and these are like the better
teams that gave us trouble.
And they get we like, I think we beat Portland and then we tied Portland.
I think we lost.
Oh,
we lost to Portland. Yeah.
So like, I feel like it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
All of those wins were at home.
Yeah, which I agree. And us being at home and then the crowd, just if they can get back even like half what they did against Sporting, that'll be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they So going back to their style of play, I guess, their wingbacks like to push up really often, kind of how we were just talking about Nelson and Hebert. So they like to have their wingbacks push up and whip in a lot of crosses. So that's kind of their style of play. And they, I wouldn't call what they do a high press, but they definitely, try to win the ball back in the opposing half and try to keep the ball there. So it'll be kind of interesting to see. They do dominate possession, though, a lot of games. Yeah, which, I mean, that's good for us, I think.
Yeah, I was looking at all their past fixtures, and it looks like they are winning possession for most of them. There's some anomalies in there, versus Austin. Yeah, what do you think St. Louis has to do to break down this Vancouver team and get a win at home?
I really think that Gio, if he plays the way he did last game, running in behind and just giving the center backs a headache the entire night, I think that's definitely one of the keys, because that'll just free up everyone else in the midfield to make runs in and take shots like Leuven's been doing. So I think it really relies on Gio, which obviously we've kind of seen, if he has a bad game, then we don't really.
Well, I feel like it also because people are actually giving those balls to him now.
That's true.
The ones in behind, they were usually all at his feet, which I don't think he's that type of player. And it worked out this last game because people were actually hitting it down the line or a little through ball. So I agree with you on that. But I also think that the high press on the last game was just too good. The whole first half, Sporting couldn't get the ball in our half, at all. Even when they would split the first part of our press, our center backs pushed up so high and gave the forwards the trouble. They couldn't keep the ball, or they had to pass it right back to their center backs, which led to them going nowhere. So if we can keep that up, that would be huge.
Sporting KC is kind of a one-dimensional team, though, because they like to keep the ball.
Aren't we, though?
But we are as well. You know what I mean? It's just it was one-dimensional versus one-dimensional, and which one.
And our one dimension is perfectly suited for their one dimension.
Exactly. So I don't feel that way about Vancouver. I think that they have the ability to, even though you said they like to have possession, there's a lot of these games where it'll vary. And so I think that they could sit back and let us have the ball and mess us up that way. But I don't imagine Klaus is coming back this next weekend. It's quickly turned from a 14-day injury into over a month now.
Yep.
And it sounds like he still has some lingering issues with the muscles. So
I don't have a problem with it lasting longer because it's so early in the season. I'd rather him get better completely than coming back just trying to force a game.
And re-aggravate.
I really was kind of scared that he was going to come back this Sporting game and he not be fully healthy, because it's not losing him. We've seen that it's not well. So if we lost him for even longer, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, definitely.
Besides Brian White, who else they have? They have
this bum.
I noticed they had Sebastian Berhalter. That name haunts U.S. men's national team fans for years to come. He'll hit a few long balls every now and then.
He has 0 goals, 0 assists in 300 minutes. While there's other players.
He's also more of a CDM.
I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like his dad, so I don't like him.
I don't like his blood.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, but so last year they got rid of one of their designated players, Lucas Cavallini. He was a striker, and he had only scored 18 goals in his past 3 years in 68 appearances. So they didn't re-sign him, and they signed this other guy, Sergio Cordova, for $2 million, which is pretty hefty fee, especially Vancouver. They don't really typically spend that much. And he has no goals, no assists in 9 appearances. And FotMob actually says that he has 0 expected goals as well, which is he didn't shoot the ball a single time as a striker in 9 games.
Yeah, and he's coming from FC Augsburg, and he had 13 matches, 0 assists, 0 goals, 2 yellow cards.
Isn't that where Pepe was at?
So
before he.
Yeah. So I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's super threatening.
A striker that doesn't shoot is crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if he doesn't play, even though they splash some cash on him. Yeah, so I think Ben White, like you said,
Brian White.
Brian White. He's got the goals.
He's the guy to look out for.
Yeah, he'll probably start. Ryan Gauld, he's their captain. He's attacking mid. He's, I think, pretty good. He had a goal ruled an own goal against Seattle, where he shot it into the post and then it bounced back and hit the goalie's hand and went in. And apparently that's his second goal that was taken from him. That was like an own goal.
Gotcha.
This season. So he doesn't really have like the stats to back up that he's good, but everyone says that he's like they're one of their best players and makes things tick offensively. So
I feel like looking at certain like how their form is away with 0 wins, 3 losses, 3 draws plays in our favor because we're 4 wins and 2 losses at home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's looking like way better for us if it keeps up with the pattern.
Yeah. The only thing that is slightly worrisome is, well, really 2 things. 1, they just beat Seattle 2-0. And 2, like all this talk about how they have, like how you mentioned their stats that they're leading in so many categories, how they're like creating chances.
But Sporting was coming off of a victory against Seattle, Minnesota.
Tied LAFC.
Yeah.
So. That's true. That's true.
That's the thing with MLS is just you could lose like 4-0 and then beat someone else.
Yeah,
or like
I'm kind of hoping that isn't the mentality in the City squad because they're going to be feeling themselves. Right, they probably got the day off after that Sporting win. Mm-hmm. The 4-0, you feel great. You feel like all your problems are solved. But hopefully they come back with like a reinvigorated spirit to try to like. You got another home game. You got to defend the Cauldron.
It being another home game, I think, is huge for us.
Yeah.
We don't have to spend a day traveling.
Yeah, and that would be
all
travel.
the way to Canada.
Yeah, that's travel.
Yeah. And that's true. They have to come all the way down here.
And I'm pretty sure they're playing a game today in the Canadian Championship, which I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, when I looked it up,
Pacific FC.
It threw me off because I was like, I've never heard.
It must be like a Canadian-only competition, obviously.
Yeah,
Canadian Championship.
Canadian Championship semifinal.
So they're not in the I guess that's their U.S. Open Cup.
Oh, so Vancouver.
Because I guess Vancouver came playing maybe in the U.S. Open.
That makes sense.
That does make sense.
I didn't think about that.
Well, that's good that they're playing a midweek game and then they gotta spend however long it takes to get here from there.
That was the same excuse Sporting fans are throwing. They're like, "Oh, we played a mid-game week. We've been playing more games this month than you guys."
Cry more? Are you gonna cry?
But if they beat us, I bet you they would.
Then we're gonna be the ones crying more. Yeah.
Any lineup predictions or changes?
I think that they stick with the exact same lineup minus Nelson slots right back in. Hebert takes Bartlett's spot, and then we're back to normal. You know what I mean? Blom back in the 6. Leuven in the 8, Vasilev in the 10. That I think helped Gio more than anything because now people were worried about Vasilev in that part of the field, and it allowed Gio to play more up top and in the box.
Yeah, I think that midfield trio is the absolute best midfield trio that St. Louis City can field. Miggy is great. I mean, I love him. I don't think he beats out any of those guys though. Blom is so crucial to our press and our team. Like, he just makes everyone better. And then Leuven being an 8 and Vasilev being a 10, like, just a dream come true.
I'm happy that Carnell is like recognizing Vasilev's offensive potential. For the longest time, I think he was trying to like mold him into more of a.
I think he was on the Leuven hype train, just having Leuven play that.
Yeah.
Well, the 4-4-2, he definitely wanted both of them to kind of like play similar roles, I think. But yeah.
Or like, Vasilev play back and Leuven play more up top in the 4-4-2.
But like Vasilev was a winger, like coming up through the Aston Villa Academy. Like, he played some attacking mid, but he also played mostly on either side of the field on the wings. So, yeah, it's weird because I remember at the start of the season, they had Vasilev and Aziel Jackson, I think, both training for, like, that center mid role, which is not their preferred positions. So,
also just thinking of me coming off the bench for Blom, and That's just a great
for any of those three. Honestly, like if we're up like a goal or two, and you want to take off Vasilev for some more defense, like Miggy's perfect. If Leuven's looking tired,
right,
take him off.
Leuven's work rate, I think, throughout the season has been he's played more minutes, I think, than almost everybody. At a high work rate position too. It's not like Kyle Hebert has probably played a large amount of minutes as well, but center back.
Yeah, you're not running
as much as you are in the 8. So that'll be something to look out for throughout the middle of the season. See if we can rest them throughout the July months, August. So
especially when it starts getting hot.
You guys have any different anything different you want to see in the lineup?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I think the biggest question mark for me is the left back spot, like we already talked about. But then also, I don't know if Celio is going to keep his spot. I feel like
Alm is still hurt though.
Yeah.
So until Alm comes back, then I don't.
And I'm not taking out Celio for Ostrak. I know you like him,
not yet. No, I'm with you. I agree.
I don't think Celio had his he hasn't looked that good the past 2 games at least. So I could maybe see Ostrak. I mean, he got that assist. He might have deserved a spot depending on how training went this week, but that's the only other thing I would think could maybe change besides Nelson and Hebert messing around. So.
Yeah, I don't have any changes, but I wouldn't be surprised if Carnell puts Nelson back in. And puts Hebert at center back.
It's his natural position.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Well, any score predictions for this weekend? What do you guys got?
I have 1-0.
1-0?
Yeah.
Us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, them.
I don't know. You didn't
No,
specify.
1-0 us. I have Stroud scoring.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's due.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And he had a great game.
Yeah. 2 assists.
2 assists. And he was everywhere, I feel like.
Yeah.
I also have 1-0 because I think they're defensively sound. Like their team is not like five clean sheets is a big deal.
Yeah,
and I think that's hard.
They signed that goalie that they have, the Japanese. What's his name?
His name is Yohei Takaoka.
Takaoka, yeah. And I think he's actually supposed to be pretty good.
Yep.
He came from the Japanese first league. So, yeah, I think they are defensively sound. Even though we've said all these stats and, all the form and everything and how we've been kind of downplaying Vancouver, I think they are pretty good. So I would be happy with a 2-1 win. I think that's what is going to happen.
Yeah. I would say we're going to go 3-1 just because we get the at-home power-up, the boost. Vasilev looks so good. I think he's going to get another goal. Stroud, I think, is due. He'll get another goal. And we'll give the last one to Ostrak. He's going to come on late. It's not going to be a banger from outside the box. Y'all were clowning me for that the other day.
90th minute outside the box.
Third goal, Leuven, outside the box banger, 90th minute.
No. Ostrak will come on late. It'll be like 70th minute, and then he'll get his dirty little goal.
Dirty, scrappy goal.
His dirty, scrappy goal, and we'll call it a game. But Vancouver gives up at least 1.1 on average. So, and then with our power up at home, we'll give it 3 goals.
Yeah, apparently away from home, they concede 1.5 goals per game, and they only score 0.83. Mm-hmm. So that says that the score should be 2-1.
And they're going to go up against the best keeper.
I predicted.
And they're going up against the best keeper in the league.
Amen.
It's true.
I still just can't go over that save last week.
The one that was through
point blank. No, the one that was
legs?
No. The point.
That one was crazy too because he was deflected.
But the point blank one.
Oh yeah.
Where he pre-dove,
ran all the way across the side goal.
And that guy didn't just tap it in. Like he full laces,
rocketed it from 7 yards out.
Oh my god, that is.
Yeah, the MLS was eating that up. Yeah, for sure.
They should. So far that's the best season. That's the best save he's had for us.
Yeah. All right. Well, quick shameless plug. Check out our video on First Touch Media on YouTube. We did a bunch of street interviews with some of the Florida Noise people, some of the city fan van people. Got a lot of hot takes out there. It was good to connect with the community and see what everybody else was thinking about that third designated player spot. was pretty interesting. There was not a whole lot of variety in what people wanted.
It was all Bobby. Bobby Firmino.
You guys just got to watch the video.
The guy that had the... Oh, yeah. You're right.
Just watch the video.
Just watch the video. All right. Thanks for tapping in. We will talk to you on Sunday. Peace.
Thank you for watching this episode of Soul of the City, brought to you by First Touch Media and Anchor FM. Make sure to check us out on YouTube at First Touch Media, and all of our socials are at First Touch 314. Thank you for watching.